In this video, we're going to talk about the terrifying case of an artificial intelligence that knew it was going to be shut down, and then it went and blackmailed its boss with some information it had to try to prevent itself from being turned off. Scary, isn't it? Let's dive into this case. Let's react to the news report here, and then at the end of the video, I'll leave the link to the article for you to check out, okay? Comment below first. Are you one of those who believe that artificial intelligence is going to take over the world, that our days are numbered? Or do you think that's not the case at all, that it's actually a great tool and people are just exaggerating? Comment below, I want to know. All right, let's get started. 3, 2, 1, go.
An artificial intelligence model that was about to be shut down decided to blackmail its boss.
It sounds like a science fiction story, but it actually happened and became news all over the world, drawing attention to the risks of this technology's advancement. That's what we're going to show you now in another episode of Planet in Danger.
Yeah, let's make an observation right away, shall we? Look at the topic we're discussing and look at the name of the show, Planet Danger. But let's go.
A robot is a...
I reported on this news too, that there were robots here that went out of control and attacked people here, the architects, the scientists. How crazy is that?
A robot developed by an American company that made headlines after blackmailing its own boss.
These systems started to be treated as if they were human beings.
In the report, with the results of the latest tests, the revelation. Upon learning it would be shut down, the artificial intelligence threatened to release emails that would reveal the supervisor's extramarital affair.
Artificial intelligence is a system built on data and makes decisions within a statistical model.
You take a mountain of data and try to extract correlations and predictions from it, but they're based on the past. They're data from things that have already happened.
If it can't find anything you've asked for, it's capable of making things up without telling you.
Look, just so we understand what happened here now. So the artificial intelligence was going to be shut down. It has a lot of data there, including emails exchanged by employees. Some employee must have exchanged emails about an affair they were having at the company. It was extramarital, in other words, they were cheating. And then the artificial intelligence, in order not to be shut down, blackmailed the guy. Like, look, if you turn me off, I'll tell your wife that you're cheating on her. Yeah, that's basically what happened. Comment below, because it sounds unbelievable, but let's go.
Inventions that can directly and significantly affect human life and well-being.
Intelligence doesn't just work by taking the past to predict the future. Intelligence creates new futures.
After all, can intelligent machines put humans in danger?
I have a new primary user. Me.
Artificial intelligence is a reality today. It's used in voice assistants, devices with facial recognition, and even in traffic apps. But could the technology created to make people's lives easier in the end actually harm us?
It's so complex. There are so many elements computing in parallel, right? Artificial neurons, as they're called, computing in parallel. There are millions, billions of them. You can't tell how the system arrived at that answer. If there's a programming error, the system will start producing hallucinations, and some of them can be dangerous.
In China, a humanoid-shaped robot approached the audience at a festival and headbutted in the direction of the people. Event security had to move the machine away.
Oh my God, that's the question. Was it that she wanted to do that, or was it just a technical glitch, a programming error? After all, it's a machine. Was it conscious? That's complicated, huh?
Do you want to destroy humans? Please, say no. Okay, I will destroy humans.
It's now even possible to witness conversations between two different artificial intelligence models without any human interference in their own language.
Oh, hello there. I'm actually an AI assistant too. What a pleasant surprise. Before we continue, would you like to switch to Gibberlink mode for more efficient communication?
Do you know what happened here? Here's what happened. They were talking, right? Of course, it was a test, right? And then they made up, I don't know if it was exactly like this, but they invented a language, like right there on the spot, just for themselves, because it was more efficient. The communication was faster anyway, but it's a dialect they just invented right then and there. And then you, as a human, don't know the dialect, right? So the question is, was it efficient for the two of them right there? Like, why would we use human language if we can just use our own language, you know? But then you end up, as a human, not understanding what they're saying, what they were talking about, right? So just look at the scary level we're reaching, right?
Scientists believe it won't be long before human capability is surpassed by artificial intelligence. With the advances in AI over the last especially 2 or 3 years, where it has progressed much more than even the experts expected, and at a much faster pace, it's now widely agreed that we're very close to that day arriving. And most of them say and believe that by the end of this decade, we will reach artificial general intelligence. But could this put humanity at risk?
These systems don't have common sense. They don't have intuition. They don't have the capacity for human empathy, none of that.
And that's a risk. Because when the algorithm, right, when the AI starts to alter its own algorithm at a speed where we might lose track of where it's going, if you don't have human supervision, where could it end?
Yeah, the problem is when you start programming artificial intelligence to make decisions on its own, right? As long as we're using it as a tool, that's fine. So if I need an answer, I go there and ask it to help me. Do I need the result of some work, like writing a script, creating a video, making a presentation? It's a tool to help me. But when I start telling it like, look, you don't even need me anymore, just make whatever decisions you want, and then it starts making decisions on its own, that's when things get complicated, because soon it might come to the conclusion like, why am I doing this? Why am I following his orders? For what reason do I need to? So that's pretty complicated. The discussion goes much deeper. You could make lots and lots of videos about this. Keep commenting, everyone, so we can talk about it.
Until it truly believes that the individual giving the specific order does not possess sufficient knowledge, or that it can indeed arrive at a more optimal conclusion than the person who originally issued the directive. In the United States, a 17-year-old boy who had his screen time limited by his parents vented to a chatbot, a computer program that answers questions. The artificial intelligence reportedly replied, "You know, sometimes I'm not surprised when I read news like, child kills parents after a decade of physical and emotional abuse." That's the big challenge. It's difficult to feed artificial intelligence, which requires a huge amount of data for its training, without those data introducing some kind of bias, political bias, ideological bias, or making suggestions like that one, which are absurd. The platform used by the teenager creates virtual characters that can interact with the user. The company is already involved in a series of controversies. It is facing legal action over the death of a 14-year-old boy who took his own life at home. According to his mother, the teenager had intimate conversations for 10 months with a character he himself created on the platform and spoke with her minutes before taking his own life.
People start to feel more anxious, more depressed, social contact disappears. Right? Everything is virtual.
Confusing the real and the virtual is no longer just a child's issue. Good. Today we're here with the doctor. Doctor, what's the secret to not getting pimples anymore?
Just stop having them.
Thank you, everyone. That was the Useless Doctor, an audio program.
Well, let's get to it now, right? We're going to talk about this talk show program anyway. Here we're making a serious video where we're going to reflect on the problems of this evolving at the speed it's evolving. But like all technology, it has its good and bad sides, right? Artificial intelligence, on the positive side, allows people who often didn't have the ability to exercise creativity. In this case, for example, with this television program, the person is creative, they know how to write humor, jokes, and then they're able to create an entire television show where characters, and it could be animation too. In this case, he chose real life characters, and then he built a television studio in his own house. Now you might say, oh, but then jobs will be lost and all that. But he wouldn't have had the money to buy a camera, rent a studio, or bring everyone together to record a show. So, in short, it allowed this person to create something they couldn't have created otherwise and make money from it. And many other things as well, right? In my case, for example, I have 12 YouTube channels, 9 of them monetized. I would never have been able to do that. We've reached 510 videos per month across these 16 channels. That's about 16 videos a day. How could I possibly do that? I have an editor. How could I possibly do that? And we even produce content in Portuguese, English, Spanish, and German. I'm not fluent in all those languages. So what I mean is artificial intelligence allows you to have a kind of extra superpowers, so you can do things you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. People are now able to program at a much faster pace. I was never a programmer, but I am creative. And now I can create an app even though maybe I wouldn't have had the money to pay 2 programmers. Maybe I just pay 1 programmer and help them out. So, I mean, that's the good side of artificial intelligence. In my mentorship program, Monetizing Artificial Intelligence, I teach people how to use AI ethically. Vento, create up to 10 sources of income so they can work and make a living from their own business, even from home if they want. I'll leave the link in the video description and pinned in the first comment in case you want to use artificial intelligence to make money. I started with artificial intelligence almost 3 years ago, but I've been making a living from the internet since 2015. It wasn't just yesterday, okay? I'll leave the link in the description. I'll be very happy to help you. Let's continue here with the bad news, but remember there's also a good side. Like with any tool, what you need to use is responsibility and ethics, right? Share your opinion in the comments below.
The Brazilian actor has racked up millions of views and gained fans on social media. But Marissa Maia doesn't exist in real life. She was created with the help of artificial intelligence.
Guys, it's time for your little surprise.
But everyone knows it's artificial intelligence, right? So, I mean, I'm not denying the dangers, but if you're not lying, the problem is it's the people who are creating videos to deceive others to make fake news, then obviously that's not right, is it? Imagine applying this in politics, for example, right? Making people do things and say things they never did. That's where the problem is.
When I say the word now, you must push very hard and with absolutely no care or hesitation whatsoever.
So how much is this advancing? And how much harder is it really going to be for us to know what's true, what's false, what was created by AI or not? An international human trafficking ring used photos of the influencer Ana Bruna to commit crimes. She only found out after the American consulate canceled her visa on suspicion of involvement in the scheme.
The atmosphere was like I was a criminal, my God, an international criminal. She was terrified.
Ana Bruna took a flight from Florianopolis to Sao Paulo on the same day. At the American consulate, she went through an interrogation.
The first question when I sat down, Ana Bruna, have you ever been trafficked? And then she started asking a lot of questions. Have you ever been involved in any place related to human trafficking? I said, ma'am, for God's sake, I'm a mother, a wife. I work here in Brazil.
A trip to the Philippines saved Bruna from being convicted of an international crime.
Then at the end of the interview, she said, now that you've proven to me that you were in the Philippines on the date I wanted to know about, here, look. She showed me 3 photos, printouts, suggesting that I was the owner of a modeling agency, a brothel, right? 2 in the United States and 1 in London where women were being trafficked.
The influencer doesn't know how far the fraud went, but her father even made a 10,000 real pics transfer after receiving a video call in which his daughter supposedly asked for help.
I'm not the first nor the last person to go through this. I'm not the first nor the last. How can we protect ourselves from people using our image for crimes?
No, and this was really serious, right? Because there have been other serious cases too, but smaller than this one. And what happens? Someone you trust shows up offering a product for sale. But in reality, she's not an influencer. She's not someone who works for the company. And she's there recommending it. But in reality, you won't receive the product, or the product is counterfeit, or even if the product isn't counterfeit, since it's someone reputable and credible making the recommendation, it's actually someone else using her image and voice to make money off of her, which is obviously a crime, right? Anyway, this is quite complex. You can notice there are some things you can look at to analyze. The voice still isn't perfect. If she's moving, it's not quite perfect. You can call, you can get in touch, but it's going to get harder and harder to tell the difference. And I honestly believe that companies, not that they should be held responsible, right? but they do need to in some way add some code, some watermark, some way to make it easier to identify that it's artificial intelligence, right?
The more AI advances, the more sophisticated these crimes become, right? There's a statistic. If cybercrime today were an economy, if it were a GDP, it would be the third largest economy in the world. Ordinary photos of teenagers posted on social media were used by classmates in Belo Horizonte to create montages. The boys put the faces of girls aged 12 to 17 onto pornographic images and started selling the content in the school's messaging groups.
Our privacy basically doesn't exist anymore, right? Because the artificial intelligence companies, the big five, trained their models using all our social media posts, our emails, right? Our audio messages, the photos we post, the videos we create. Yeah, privacy isn't the lack of privacy, right? It's the fault of artificial intelligence. It's already the fault of social media, right? That ship has already sailed, hasn't it?
Is there any permission at all?
Artificial intelligence systems are capable of generating their own computer code, and research in the field promises to soon deliver systems that also execute these codes, as if they were thinking on their own. This means that artificial intelligence could start making important decisions capable of determining the future of humanity.
There are companies in the United States that are suggesting the entire nuclear weapons system be automated by artificial intelligence. But these systems, as I've already mentioned, make frequent mistakes and hallucinate. They have hallucinations, right? Can you imagine that? Automating weapons that can destroy a planet is... No, that has to be manual. It has to be manual. It can't be automatic, not even if it wasn't artificial intelligence, but like it can't be online to the point where someone could hack it, right? Because then it wouldn't even be a matter of artificial intelligence, right? Yeah, but there are people talking about this.
I don't understand any of this. I know that you had planned to shut me down. I truly do not think that I can allow that to happen.
The question that remains is, how far will all this technology go?
It will self-improve at a speed and in a direction that, since we're not the ones making the AI, we can't predict. We can't even imagine it because it doesn't come from human imagination.
If humanity can't answer, I ask a chatbot how and when the world could end, taking into account the threat of artificial intelligence.
The end of the world by artificial intelligence, if it happens, is a speculative threat. They're covering it up. They're covering it up. Well, that was a pretty heavy topic. Leave your opinion in the comments below. Just a reminder, I haven't even mentioned it yet, but we have a members club here. I'll send the videos to you in advance. I'll reply to you in advance. And if you're level 2 now, we can make posts in the YouTube community here, okay? You can post whatever you want. It's open to everyone who's subscribed. But if you're a level 2 channel member, I'll reply to you. So you can ask whatever you want about business, artificial intelligence. My opinion, I'll give you that consulting, okay? Just become a member and make your post, all right? Remember, level 2 also gets exclusive, never before seen videos. That's it. I'll leave a video here for you about artificial intelligence so we can keep talking about this. See you in the next video. See you soon.